Imagine this. You wake up one morning and something is wrong. Your neighbor is outside, dancing, not smiling, not celebrating, just moving, again and again. No music, no reason, no stopping. At first, you don't worry. Maybe it's a joke, maybe it's illness, maybe nothing serious. But then, you see them the next day, still dancing, same spot, same movement, tired eyes, shaking body, barely standing, but they don't stop. And then it spreads. One person joins, then another, and suddenly, the street is full. Not of celebration, but of suffering. People dancing until they collapse, until their feet bleed, until their bodies give out. And still, they keep moving. Why? Nobody knew. Even today, nobody fully knows. This is not a legend, not a myth. This is history. The year 1518, Strasbourg. And what happened here still terrifies historians. Welcome to Echoes of the Unbelievable. Strasbourg, a city in medieval Europe. Busy streets, crowded homes, constant struggle. Life was hard, very hard. People were poor, hunger was common, disease was everywhere. And fear, that was normal. Because people believed everything had meaning, everything had a cause. If something bad happened, it was punishment from God, or curses, or something unseen. So when strange things began, people didn't question reality. They feared it deeply. It started in July, hot summer, heavy air. A woman stepped into the street. Her name was believed to be Frau Trophäa. And then she began to dance. No music, no audience, no celebration, just movement. At first, people stared, confused. Maybe she was sick. Maybe she was drunk. Maybe she had lost her mind. But no one panicked yet, because one person, that wasn't unusual. But then hours passed, and she was still dancing. Night came, still dancing. Morning came, still dancing. Her body was breaking, feet swollen, skin torn, sweat everywhere. But she didn't stop, or couldn't stop. Nobody knew which. And that uncertainty was the beginning of fear. One dancer became two, two became five, five became 20, and then it exploded. The streets filled, not with joy, but with chaos. People dancing uncontrollably, some crying while moving, some screaming mid-step, some collapsing, then getting back up again and continuing. Imagine that, a city where people cannot stop moving, even when they are dying, even when they are exhausted. They keep going. Why? No one understood. Panic started to rise, slowly at first, then all at once. Parents locked doors, church bells rang constantly. People prayed, hard, desperately, because something was clearly wrong, but no one knew what. Then the authorities stepped in. Doctors were called, priests were called, leaders tried to solve it. But medicine back then wasn't what it is today. Doctors gave a strange explanation. They called it hot blood. Their solution? Let them dance it out. Yes, dance more.
Keep moving!
So they built stages. They brought musicians, drums, violins, flutes. Music filled the city. And instead of stopping, it got worse. More people joined the dancing. The sound pulled them in, like something invisible, like a force they couldn't resist. But the human body has limits, and those limits were reached fast. People collapsed in the streets. Some died from exhaustion, some from heart failure. Some simply couldn't continue living through it. And And still, the dancing continued. The city was no longer a city. It became something else, something unrecognizable. People needed answers, so they searched for meaning, and what they found terrified them even more. Many believed it was a curse, a punishment, linked to Saint Vitus, a figure believed to cause uncontrollable movement. Suddenly, it made sense to them, not scientifically, but emotionally. Because how else do you explain this? Hundreds of people dancing against their will until death. Priests tried rituals, prayers, religious ceremonies, anything to stop it, but nothing worked. The city was trapped inside something no one understood. And then, slowly, it began to fade. The dancing stopped, one by one, until silence returned. But the fear never left. Even today, historians still argue. No clear answer exists. Some believe it was poison, a fungus called ergot. It grows on bread. It can affect the mind, cause hallucinations, strange behavior. But there's a problem. It doesn't fully explain this. Not the dancing, not the duration, not the scale. Others believe something else. Mass hysteria, a psychological chain reaction, stress, fear, hunger, disease, a city already broken, finally snapping together. One person triggers it, then another, until it spreads like fire. Still, even that theory feels incomplete, because how does fear make hundreds of people dance for days until death? There is no perfect answer, only theories. Strasbourg eventually returned to normal. The streets became quiet again. Life moved on, as it always does. But the question stayed behind. What really happened in 1518? A curse? Poison? Psychological breakdown? Or something we still don't understand? Because one truth remains. This happened. Real people, real suffering, real deaths, in a real city. And for a moment in history, an entire town lost control of itself. Imagine witnessing that. People you know, dancing until they collapse, begging them to stop, but they can't hear you, or they can't stop. No answers, no cure, just fear and silence. Even today, the dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's most disturbing mysteries. Because sometimes, history doesn't make sense. It just happens. So what do you think it was? Poison? Hysteria? Or something darker? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoy uncovering the strangest secrets hidden in history, subscribe to Echoes of the Unbelievable. Because some stories never stop echoing.